Who are we talking to last?
All right. I really am curious about what Elliot has to say, to be honest. Can we talk to Elliot?
Sure. Elliot in Washington.
Elliot in Washington.
Hey.
Elliot.
Hey, how you doing?
We're
Hey.
doing well. I am out of my depth. I feel like I waded out into the waters and now I'm ready to go back. What did you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk a little bit about, especially with it being Pride Month, just like the existence of queer Christian apologetics. That's something that I find really kind of interesting as a queer person and as someone who used to be deeply religious. Kind of like when I came out, the disillusionment hit me pretty quickly, and I kind of pulled back for a really long time. And by the way, I just found the two of you like 3 weeks ago or something, right as I started remodeling my bathroom. So you kept me company for 18-hour days of painting and stuff. So
nice.
Thank you for that.
Oh man, we're remodeling and painting right now too. So
I'm so sore. Like I feel like Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's bad.
But we want to make sure that you have time to talk about this before we scoot.
Because, yeah. No, I appreciate that. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things, but one of the things was that documentary. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called 1946. It's that the documentary that's like around the mistranslation in the Bible, where the word homosexual didn't appear in the Bible until 1946.
Oh, can we watch that tonight?
I want to watch
that. And
is it?
I haven't watched it either. I'm really interested.
Is it on Netflix?
Let's see.
I don't know. I'm looking
Where
up the-
1946.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find it.
We're-
That sounds
1946.
awesome.
We might have to watch it together and talk about it next week if that's something you want to go deep on.
But yeah, queer Christian apologetics is a huge topic that I personally absolutely love, especially because I have a lot of friends who are progressive Christians who also happen to be queer, who dive real deep into this stuff, and it's fascinating what they come up with. What's your perspective on it?
Oh, I feel like I feel like I get it, and I'm kind of confused by it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like confused as to why folks would go, it just feels like that same kind of like make the Bible say what you want it to say sort of thing. And I don't really know if the Bible condemns queerness. I don't really know, because it feels there's just so many different opinions and interpretations, which I think is part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
But I just, there are people from my past who will pop up on my, social media feeds who are queer and also deeply religious, one of them being a pastor.
Yeah.
And I just, every time I see posts of theirs, I'm like, this is like religion has been such a tool used to oppress us. And I feel so like, I don't know, it just kind of does feel mind-boggling. And I guess I wanted to just get your take on it. I assumed that it's something that you've thought a lot about, and so
absolutely. This is my bread and butter, and I'm so sad that you called in, that we got to you so late. You didn't call in late. We got to you late. That's on us. So, okay, here we go. Here's my thought, and this is me taking the God belief part out for a moment, because we will always disagree on that if you are a Christian, right? But as far as a cultural movement, as far as, like you said, a tool, in the same way that in the other week we had a conversation about whether owning a gun was immoral. And my point there was that a tool cannot be moral or immoral. A tool is just a thing that you use to an end. If the end is to harm, that is bad, but that doesn't make the tool inherently bad. That makes you using the tool bad. If it promotes health or safety or, enjoyment without harm, cool. That's a good tool, or a tool that does good in certain contexts. If we are going to allow Christians of every denomination, I say, as though we have a choice. If we are going to tolerate Christianity morphing into however many thousand denominations based on a book that can be read a myriad of different ways and will always be misinterpreted because nobody is reading it with a mindset of somebody 2,000+ years ago. Why not take that tool and make it into something that is helpful or at least reduces harm? So I'm not advocating to become a Christian, right? If you are a queer person and Christianity has harmed you, fuck that, get out of there, do your own thing. That's me. But if you are a Christian who is queer and you say, you know what, I'm seeing my neighbor across the street interpret this thing horribly and use it to promote harm, I'm going to take this tool and interpret it in this way to reduce harm. And because apparently there is no correct answer, I'm just as right as you are. And therefore, we both have equal access to the quote unquote truth in the Bible. So I see that a lot of Christians who happen to be queer, I have many queer pastor friends, many people who either deconstructed their faith and came away with a more progressive version, or have always been just very progressive people who also happen to be Christian. A lot of it is activism for them. A lot of it is reclaiming things in the same way that we are Americans and we can see the horrible history of America and say, fuck that. We're going to change that and do our best to make it something else, as opposed to, well, guess I better get out of the country. A lot of Christians who are queer in some way see Christianity in the same way. Yes, it's been used as harm. Yes, it's a tool that has been used as a bludgeon for the majority of its existence. However, we're going to reclaim it and make it into something that reduces harm and increases the benefit to more queer people. Now, do I agree that that makes Christianity true? No. Will I always disagree with a God claim? Yes. Do I think there are better ways to help the queer community than try and revamp a centuries, millennia-old religion? Absolutely, I do. But that's me steelmanning their position and looking at it from that perspective.
And I just want to voice the angry part of it.
Yes, go for it. I was way too forgiving.
You were way too forgiving.
Yeah. Knock them down.
So here's the pissed off piece.
I'm there with you.
The pissed off piece is there are way too many churches who have said, oh, well, you know, if you look at the history of our nation, you know, Christians were the ones who were pushing against slavery the whole time. You know, it was the Christians that helped get, you know, people through the Underground Railroad. It was Christians who pushed for civil rights. Bullshit. Cheers to the people who have the empathy and, you know, the moral fortitude to say, hey, this is wrong. I think that it's an incredible show of ability that they can flex hard enough that they can include the inclusiveness into what has been used for hatred and bigotry and the justification for violence for generations. The fact that they're doing it at least means that the world that we're in is a better place because there's more empathy and integrity there. But that does not mean that you get to rewrite history and say that it's always been that way.
Exactly.
While that's the case, while these things are changing, and while we're happy to see that we're living in a world with more empathy and more kindness, that does not absolve the terrible behavior that's been done in the name of those religions. Not on all of them, but you cannot whitewash away the fact that it's happened. And you cannot whitewash away the fact that there's still, that is still a part of that history. You don't get to pretend it doesn't exist. And you don't get to pretend that those people are necessarily wrong. It just means that you're doing an extra backflip, which we like, but it's an extra backflip added onto something that we still agree is wrong.
Damn.
Yeah,
I'm just like ready to like raise my hand and like go with you there.
Elliot, thank you so much for calling in.
Elliot, call back.
Yeah.
This is an awesome conversation. I would love to keep having it.
I definitely will. There are so many things I want to talk about with the two of you. Another one, just as a little, next time I call, I want to talk about the way that queer culture has really embraced things like astrology, tarot, numerology, all of that. So I feel really interested in that. I want to hear your thoughts on that
I
too.
am, yes, absolutely.
And then V will be the nice person, and I can be the angry person again.
Oh, no. We're on the same page about that. I am so excited, Elliot. Definitely call back.
Take care.
Bye.